basically NYC Well is a program that facilitates mental health services for individuals who are in need on a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week basis. The services are very unique in nature because they are all telephonic and it's completely confidential and free. Providing behavioral health services to New York City residents kind of, lifts that carpet that we've had for such a long time where we've, swept all these issues under the rugs and, say it's okay not to be okay. The confidentiality piece, I think it's also really important. I think, I've even, spoken to people who are close to me who are like, hey, what's that number of the, the place that you work at? Because I want to speak to somebody, but I don't want to be stigmatized. And I think that destigmatizing mental health services is what we're trying to do with NYC Well. And I think also the reach, because it's not necessarily just New York City, but because, when you search on Google, like suicide prevention and things come up, we've had, opportunities to do active rescues in other parts of the world. It's really rewarding. And I think also, when they have these ad campaigns and you're sitting in the subway and you look up and you see NYC Well, it's, that someone else could be thinking, oh, these services, let me text. And then I'm thinking like, wow, I'm a part of this. So, so it's twofold, right? Because I could easily be sitting next to someone who is texting with one of our counselors and, there I am like humbly on the train, like, well, so that's, in a nutshell, I think NYC Well is something that New York City needed, and having these services, especially during a global pandemic, I think it's, I don't know what other place has this, but I think we're definitely doing a really good service to New York City in general. I will tell you that prior to COVID, or pre-COVID, as we call it now, we would average anywhere between 700 to 900 interactions a day. And now we're, superseding, 1,200 interactions a day. There was one particular day where there was a text sent out by the city on Notify NYC where we received 2,300 interactions in one day. The city sent a text, saying, hey, we have these services, NYC Well, reach out for, behavioral health support if you need it. And we reached 2,300.
Wow.
The group of individuals that work with us, they're brilliant. They really are. They're very diverse group also, which is really interesting as far as backgrounds, as far as interests, and, being able to put that together into the work that we're doing is really interesting because not everybody is a social worker. Not everyone is, a mental health counselor. We have some individuals who've done criminal justice and before, and who've done just regular psychology. Sometimes, like I said, there's a lot of interactions with EMS and, fire departments and things like that because of the issues. Being able to, understand and kind of, once you close the laptop, leaving it where it is. Before the pandemic, we were going into an expansion period for NYC Well.
Okay.
So we needed to hire an X amount of counselors in addition to the ones that we had. So, giving us the flexibility, the city gave us the flexibility of expanding the reach. And, lo and behold, we were able to find more talent quicker. One of the things about being remote is that it gives us, it expands our reach as far as talent. Because we're not necessarily, having to hire individuals who are within commuting distance, but we, expand the search to, other states. We have people in Florida, we have people in California. I think we have a young lady who is in Minnesota, I believe, or Minneapolis, one of the two.
Okay.
So yeah, it works. North Carolina, so Pennsylvania, that's not that far, but we're tipping almost 300 counselors at this point. So what we had to do in order to be able to accomplish that, we had to do bi-weekly trainings. Trainings usually we do them once a month, but now we're doing 2 trainings in 1 month, basically. So every 2 weeks we have a new class onboarding. So as soon as we, interview, recruit, on board, then we're doing it again for the next class. But we did that consistently from March until August was the second time, the last two class that we had in one single month. Remote work is not for everybody. I like my home to be my home, and then my work to be my work. So I never really liked working remotely, to be honest. I think that I'm more productive because, like as you've heard, I'm more of a hands-on kind of person, and I really, I like to, if I'm in the office, I'm able to move around and kind of get things done, and then, um, coming home. But I feel like I'm busier at home, to be honest, than I've been in the office. So productivity hasn't, reduced. I'll tell you that. I think that productivity has increased. Even prior to COVID, we were remote ready already. Okay. So a lot of counselors would always request to go remote, and we would have to, please wait a couple more months, or that kind of thing. So it's always been a thing that they've wanted to do. Now when I have conversations with them, they're like, are we going back to the office? I don't want to. Am I able to request to stay remote? So they love it because, one, it saves them money, to be honest, with transportation. It gives them, there's, not only saving money, but they're saving time, and time is so important. I know that helps with their work-life balance. We had a total of 23 workstations, 23 cubicles, where on a 24-hour basis, shifts would change and they were always full, right? We've gone through situations where our offices, we have 5 offices that, management occupies, they would have to work remote, so we would have space for the counselors. So it was a very busy consistently because obviously they're taking the calls. But one of the things is always been, kind of quiet, because they understand that they have to, speak slowly because there's a colleague right next to them. But it was always an in and out of, either employees or, individuals from the 19th floor, counselors themselves going in and out for breaks and lunches and things like that. So it's always been, kind of a revolving door of individuals going in and out. And then seeing the number of people coming into the office reduce every day, it was a little, it was interesting because I've always seen the contact center so busy and so many people moving around. Looking at the contact center one last time, completely empty. And even that morning, I remember, because I always get to work really early. So I walked in through the doors and there was like silence, like eerie silence, because we were also during the height of COVID. So understanding that was probably going to be the last time that I was going to walk through the doors for a really long time was also kind of, a shocker to me. It was such a tremendous collaborative work between the different departments. Morgan and his team, they helped us so much. Even staying late and coming in early, and ensuring his team was there to get these devices ready, because we had to quickly purchase all of the devices and get them up and running, because we had to license them. We had to, give them the peripherals that they needed, like headsets and mouses and, sometimes extra monitors. So we ordered first like 150, I want to say, or 100, between 100 and 150. They were back ordered. So we had to order from another company and try to get them in. So we ordered about 100. And in addition to that, because we didn't have the adequate amount of devices, we had to actually give the staff our desktops so they can take home with a monitor. So a couple counselors put the desktops on their backpack and left with the monitor in their hands. Like it was something that we just had to do it quickly. And I think that the flexibility of every single individual that was a part of this process, made it that much simpler for us and easier for us to be able to do so. Because if we were running with, that's why I say we have such a great group, because you know, coming, you know, waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and then not leaving the office till 4 with a device, and then having to carry it on the train in your hands and being okay with that. I mean, you have to, it speaks to the character of the people that we work with. It really does. That effort was, it was such a, if we wouldn't have the team that we have, we wouldn't have been able to make it, because it was a lot. It was a lot of work, and it required all of the different departments and all of the different pieces to come together and be able to do it. In order for things to get done, you have to put in the work, and you have to see it through, right? Even if you're tired, even if you're, you know, like hungry or whatever the case may be, I think that pushing forward and completing tasks and then saying, okay, I can take a step back, is something that I've learned through, you know, throughout my time. And I think also, I'm very resilient, and I'm very, you know, very serious. And this is something that is, my family is very much so this way, which I'm grateful for, because, you know, in situations, when you face situations like that is when you really get a sense of who you are as a person, right? Like, you know, am I going to stay 5 minutes later sleeping? Or am I going to get up because I know that this has to be done? Like I said, I'm really honored to be a part of Vibrant, most importantly, I think from the beginning of time. And then, you know, to be given this opportunity, it's really honoring and humbling, to be honest. Thank you so much.